Welcome to the Behind the Art Inspiration Podcast, a sneak peek into the studio practices of all types of artists, conversations for artists and fans of art who are sophisticated and savvy. I'm your host and curator, Karp. Let's get to it. Well, welcome everyone. This is episode number 4 of the Behind the Art Inspiration Podcast. In this episode, I'll be virtually traveling from my Safety Harbor, Florida studio all the way across the United States to Austin, Texas, and into the studio of my friend, energy artist, Greta Olivas. Did I say that right?
Olivas. Close.
Thank you. I knew it was O.
Yeah.
Greta happens to be in the International Online Art Collective. So how's it going today, Greta? Thanks for joining me.
It's going good. It's a pretty day here in Texas today. So it's good. It's good. I have several plans on getting some paintings started today, so that's always a good thing. So yeah, I'm doing good.
So I introduced you as an energy artist. And I know what my definition of energy artist is, but I'm sure that people who are watching would love to hear. And also, I forgot to tell you this, but this might become an audio podcast also. So
Okay.
Many descriptive words that you can use when you're talking about your artwork would be great. And I forgot to tell you that beforehand. But tell me when you call yourself an energy artist, what goes into that and what comes out?
It's interesting because the way I've described how I create my art, this is one of them back here. I've described how that they just happen, which I know they kind of don't just happen, but it's a matter of being in a place where I kind of give up control and let the energy flow through and ends up on the canvas. I tell people I have very little control. My paintings taught me a lot. When I came out with this series, I call it the Cosmos series. I liked the way it looked. It looked like space, the universe, whatever. Everybody sends me pictures of Hubble telescope images because they think of me. And one of the things I found is that when I try to control the painting, I'm getting in the way. Right. And so it's almost like I have to get out of the way and just let the painting happen. They're very fluid. I work with very watered down acrylic. And there's only so much I can manipulate. And so I've noticed that if I'm trying to force things and control things, it doesn't happen, or it's very frustrating. I can't duplicate stuff usually. And so it depends on the energy that I'm in order of how the paintings will come out. One of the big things that I like to do before I get started is I usually will smudge or light incense to clear the energy in the space before I get started on the paintings. And so that's kind of important. Also, another thing that's made me realize that people feel the energy in the paintings is I've had people come during studio tours and say, I just glanced and I had to come see it. I don't know why, but I had to come see your work. It's so powerful. I can feel your paintings. People have used that in their descriptions of my work. So it makes me feel like I'm transmitting it in the right way. So hopefully that explains a little bit of what the energy part of it is.
Yes. So do you meditate or do yoga or both?
I meditate. I go through phases that I don't meditate as much. I was at a point meditating an hour a day. Lately, it's been hectic and crazy, weird energy everywhere. and I have not done it. And I noticed that it's harder for me to create when I don't, because I have to be in that centered place in order to create the paintings. Sometimes when I'm having a really hard time focusing or I'm not meditating enough, I will do the busy work, like the text stuff on the computer, or painting edges or varnishing or something like that when I'm not feeling it.
Which is all necessary.
Yes, yes. So there are times that I'm just not feeling it, but meditating definitely helps. And that's usually the thing that I do, is I do try to meditate at least every day.
I'm curious. When you close your eyes and you're looking, do you see through your mind's eye?
I do. And
you
actually, there are times that I see these paintings. I see color combinations in the paintings that will inspire something that I want to try. But sometimes if I see something specific and I try to create it, my head is already getting in the way because I'm trying to control what's happening. I think I need to, what I've found is taking those colors and just going with that and not controlling the painting as much. And then it works.
So in your process, do you, I'm just imagining, because I'm an intuitive painter as well, like, do you mix up a palette first? Like, do you have I call it mise en place, like it's like preparing a dinner where you have all your food. Yeah. Do you set up the palette that you want to be painting, or are you painting and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I got to have magenta, or I've got to have yellow, or which direction do you go in?
I usually will start off with an idea, like, and the process is really slow for my paintings because a lot of the bottom layers I have to do first and let them dry before I go the next one and then the next one. A lot of times each color might have 2 layers of it before I start layering the other colors on top. So the drying process gives me a lot of waiting time, which has taught me a lot of patience.
Are you acrylic?
It's acrylic. What I usually do is I just get my trusty squirt bottle, one of my favorite tools. I spray water on the canvas, spread it out everywhere, not lots. And then I just dip my hands in the paint and I start working it in. So mostly finger paint for most of my series, especially the Cosmos. And there's something to the connection of my hand on the canvas with the paint.
Absolutely.
I could do it. I should use gloves. I don't. Sometimes I do, like if I have a cut on my finger or something, I will. Brushes I've used, but it's not the same. There's something about that connection. And but yeah, I get the paint and I start rubbing it in. I start really lightly, maybe add some more if I need to. Usually I let it dry before I go to the next one. When it's still a little bit wet, in order to get, let's see, I have one here. I can show a little bit closer up. To get that effect of those, where am I? Those circles and the broken up areas, I use alcohol. And it only works if it's still pretty wet. And what it does is it breaks up the pigment in that area. And depending on weather and temperature, if it's humid or dry, on how fast that'll work. Sometimes it covers back up. It can be very frustrating. So trying to control my paintings is a frustrating thing. So it's taught me patience and letting go and letting it do its thing.
And allowing.
But, yeah, so and a lot of times I might have an idea of what the paint's colors are going to be, but I definitely get that, oh my God, I think I need to add this color. And so I will go grab something else. Definitely.
You said you wanted to show me some other paintings that you had there, but can you describe them? This is a good lesson, a good exercise in describing.
Yes. Okay. This is one of my, well, I'm trying to figure out the camera.
We're reversed here. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the Inner Light painting, one of them. This part I did with a stencil. So it has texture to it. And then when I did the watered down acrylic, it just kind of flowed through the little dots. And I love the way that turned out.
Yes.
I also do a series, I call it my Ruins series, and it's collage. There we go.
I do like the collage.
Yeah, and that paper is actually National Geographic magazines.
Do I see a peacock in there?
Huh?
Do I see peacock feathers?
Maybe. I think it's just the way it turned out.
Isn't that interesting? I see it right next to the music.
Yeah. The paper I use is National Geographic magazines that if you use Citrusol, the household cleaner, it breaks up the pigment and it makes these really cool patterns that kind of match what my paintings are. And I love doing that because they're all different and you never know what you're going to come up with. It only works on certain years of issues because of the high pigment content that they have and the type of ink they use. And so I have bins full of paper to use for collage. I did figure out, doing some research, that some artists were doing laser prints of them, which I found really helpful. So what I've done is I scanned several of the pages. We'll do laser prints so I can do big images for bigger pieces, or I will do change colors up a little bit because you're limited with National Geographics. There's a lot of blues, greens, or browns, not a lot of other colors. So I've been doing that. Let's see what other. Here's another one of my little Ruins series.
Oh yeah, I love the
blue.
blue.
And the paper is just amazing.
So is the top also the paper or not?
No, that I did with acrylic and saran wrap on it. Let it dry with saran wrap, and it does that really cool pattern.
Nice. That one is the blue is just so rich.
Yeah, I love that blue. Also on those, I started putting just one little bit of music notes in it, just music paper. People have asked me, is it a certain song? No, I just like the look of the notes. And one day it hit me that I think, to me, those paintings tell me stories. And I think the music note represents the voice in the story.
I remember asking you that question.
Yeah, and it hit me one day. I was like, oh my God, I know why I put that, because it was instinctive. I've done it in almost all my paintings. There's two that I did not include it in, and I noticed afterwards. And I think the paintings were kind of dark just because of I was feeling hopeless about things at the moment. And I think the reason why they just never entered my mind is because I felt that I didn't have a voice in those paintings. And that's when it hit me that that's what that means. That's what that means.
Interesting.
And then this one is my Ancestral Series. Let's see if I can back up a bit. And I've done several of these. I have not done small ones on these for some reason. They were inspired by a trip to Sedona. To me, the way I describe that is the stories that I got from the earth and ancestors that were in that area. So it's almost like, to me, the Ancestral Series is transmitting that information in those paintings. And I've done fewer.
Tell me about the black outline that's so predominant in those.
It's actually, in these?
Yes.
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
think to me originally it was like the cracks in the earth. Because I've approached them different ways, but the latest way that I approach them is I put color or whatever on the background.
Right.
And then I will start marking the lines, and it's very instinctive. Sometimes I paint over sometimes they stay. But I think to me, it's like cracks in the earth, and the colored areas are where the information's coming through.
Interesting.
And so that's kind of how they feel to me. This one is called, and I forgot to even name them on here. This one is called Planting Seeds of Love, because to me it looks like a plant.
Yeah.
And that's what it was telling me. I always name my paintings afterwards. Very seldom they're named ahead of time. I usually stare at them and see what it's telling me. There's the way they feel kind of tells me what the name's going to be. And sometimes it takes me a while of staring at it to find the words for it, because I can feel the title, but I need to be able to put it in words that people can get. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that's very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Yeah, yeah.
And thank you, everybody who is tuning in, for so much for watching and listening as I share and as we share. In March of 2020, I had a vision of starting the International Online Art Collective. And we're a group of diverse artists from around the world who value the power of art to inspire, provoke, and heal. The power of this group is in its connection. And from this, a podcast is born. First, I'm interviewing with these artists, and then I'll be branching out to all different types of artists. So thank you once again, and stay with me, Greta, as I end the broadcast, but stay here.